Welcome back to the Manor Entropians. Julian McBain here, and today we're back on personal finance for gamers, and today we're going to talk about building your top line. Now, first off, let's discuss what I mean by building your top line. Most people, when talking about finance, are concerned about the bottom line. And the bottom line is the results after all of your income and expenses have been considered. The top line is strictly your income, sources of money coming in. And the reason I've waited up till now to do this rather than starting from the top and working my way down is you don't start necessarily on the top line. Now, if you've got a zero top line, you obviously have to start on the top line because you can't do anything else without some form of income. But we're assuming you have some sort of a baseline to work with. You know, you have a job, you have work that you do that produces income on a regular basis, or maybe you even have a business, although in most cases this isn't really kind of tailored toward that. Because if you have a business, you probably already know most of this. So today, this is going to be split into two parts. The first part today is non-investment methods of generating income. And what I mean by that is we're not going to talk about things like stocks or bonds or anything like that. I'm strictly talking about other ways to generate income for yourself. Those things that they call active forms of income, for the most part. The other thing is this is going to be fairly general. I am not some high income business guru. I don't necessarily know how to build these things, but I know that they are options. And there is plenty of YouTube videos out there. There are plenty of YouTube videos out there. Is plenty. Oi. There are plenty of YouTube videos out there to tell you how to do any of these individual things. I have simply brought them in to summarize them, so that you can decide to go out there, explore each one in turn, and make an educated decision on which one, if any, that you decide you want to do. My goal here is to arm you with some information, not be an expert on any individual piece. I'm the generalist. So, again, I will be reviewing investment strategies in a separate video. So let's talk about building your top line using active income. The first and easiest thing you can do is apply for a promotion. You've got your existing job. If an opening pops up, apply for the promotion. If you don't think you can get the promotion, or if you're turned down for the promotion, the first thing you should ask your boss is, or the person who posted the job is, what can I do to make myself a better candidate for next time? Don't get upset. Don't get frustrated. What can I do to be a better candidate for next time? Because frankly speaking, like I said, the easiest way for you to increase your income is apply for a promotion and get it. Mostly because it has no overhead. Requires you only get better at what you're already doing. And other than perhaps focusing more in on your job, does not require a large amount of extra energy or effort. It will require more than you're probably putting in now. Or maybe you're already getting to the point where you can get the promotion. It's just waiting for a slot. But out of all of the ones I will be covering, this one requires the least extra time. Because now we're going to talk about side hustles. And the first thing that I know some of you are going to think is, why would I want a side hustle? I already don't have enough time. Well, newsflash, kids. You got to get your money right if you want everything else to go right. And sometimes that means sacrificing time today to have more freedom and time later. And you can be frustrated, you can be irritated, you can think that it's not fair. Maybe it isn't fair, but unfortunately, that's the way it is. So let's talk about side hustles. I'm going to go from, I hate to say from easiest to hardest because it's not really the case. There are kind of two sets, the ones that are easier to get into and the ones that are harder to get into. But it all depends on the amount of drive you have. Any of these can work out for you if you have the drive. So, first thing you can do is you can take a second traditional job. Part-time, full-time. I wouldn't recommend doing 2 full-time jobs at the same time. That's liable to make you ill. But a full-time job and a part-time job. And just try to balance your schedule so you can get both jobs in without them overrunning each other. The part-time job has got to tailor to the full-time job. Because you can't sacrifice your full-time job for a part-time job, even if the part-time job pays more money. Unless they offer you full-time, never sacrifice your full-time job for a part-time job. The second thing you can do is basically contract work. These are your Ubers, your DoorDashes, Uber Eats, Lyft. You can also do things like freelance writing, freelance art, become a content creator for Fiverr. These are all basically independent contractor or freelance side hustles. On the good side, you can do it when you have time and not do it when you don't. Although it's not advantageous if you don't schedule your time. I know that DoorDash is much more consistent when you work a certain number of shifts or just do a certain number of deliveries. Then you can schedule your timeout on that service and then you're guaranteed that time slot. Otherwise, you may not be able to get into the app at all. Full disclosure, my lady has done work for DoorDash. That was her side hustle. And she actually really enjoyed the side hustle. And she enjoyed the income that generated. The third thing you can do is create a side business. Now this could also, your Fiverr work can also fall under this, because it's kind of like a cross between the contract work for Uber or the starting your own business doing content. The freelancing falls under side business, but at the same time, you're often working for some sort of a contract provider, someone who gets you the jobs. I don't know a huge amount about freelancing. I've looked into it. It's something that I really should look into more, but unfortunately, I haven't taken the time, and that's on me. But I do know people make good money on it, and some people, that's their entire life. You can make a living being a freelancer. Sometimes it's tough, but you can do it. And there's nothing wrong with a life like that, because that means you're in, that's your freedom. Other side businesses include the following. 1, network marketing. Now, having experience in network marketing, I don't do it anymore, but I did. There are benefits and drawbacks to it. The benefits of network marketing is you have a pre-existing lineup of products. Your startup price is low. You generally don't have to carry inventory. And you often, because you recruit other people to open their businesses, often in non-competitive spaces. And here, oftentimes people mistake network marketing for a pyramid scheme. That's not how it works, because pyramid schemes pay you for adding people. Network marketing pays you for selling products, and then you get benefits when those people, in Amway they call it down the line, also make their sales. You get a benefit because you recruited them, but it's not because you don't just get paid because you recruited someone. It doesn't work like that. And yes, full disclosure, that network marketing group I used to be a member of was Amway Global. I was an independent business owner. I got out of it because I didn't have the skills necessary to do the job correctly. I have nothing against any network marketing group that is an honest network marketing group. Plenty of people have built businesses in Avon, or in Amway, or in LuLaRoe, I think was what it's called, a clothing line that unfortunately collapsed recently. Plexus is another network marketing group. I know people where that's changing their lives for the good. and I'm not advertising for any of these groups, I'm providing examples. I don't necessarily endorse any of these groups. Again, I'm providing examples. So there is no shame in network marketing if the products you're selling actually provide a benefit of some sort, whether it's making them feel good, or it provides them with a better quality product, or if it makes them lose weight. Nothing wrong with any of it. Just do your research, understand how the model works, and make an informed decision before you sign up for them. That's all it takes. Another one is drop shipping. I don't know a whole lot about drop shipping. I think like I think it's called Spotify. Was it Spotify? No, Shopify. Sorry, it's Shopify. You do Shopify. You know, you build a website, you sell products, and they just ship them straight from wherever the manufacturer is. Oftentimes, you don't even have to touch the product. And I know people who are successful at that. I know others who are trying to build a business doing that. Again, as long as you're providing some sort of a benefit and you're not trying to screw people, which I know that you won't, because I don't know very many Entropians, and I know that the majority of the people who watch my stuff are Entropians. I don't know hardly anyone that plays this game that tries to screw people. There are people who come in and try to do that, but they're not true Entropians. They're just assholes. They're like, oh, I can build players for money. And players click to catch on, and then they get out. The third one is white label resale. Again, I'm not an expert on this. There are plenty of people out there who are an expert on this. Please go find people who are experts on this, but here's how it basically works. You go to a wholesaler like Alibaba.com, you buy a product that you want to resell. If you meet their thresholds, they'll even often put your own logo on it because they're called white label. That means they're generic. You put your label on it and you resell it. So let's say you want to sell watches. You buy 50 watches at $10 a piece, you turn around, you sell them for $30 a piece. That's how that works. It's more complicated than that, but that's not the purpose of this video. Again, there are thousands of videos on how to do this correctly. I am not an expert, but I know it's an option, so I'm presenting this to you today. Okay, other side hustles or side businesses you can do include being a content creator. Now this sounds kind of obvious considering that's what I do. This is my side hustle. I don't make a whole lot off of it. I don't have to make a whole lot off of it right now. But I'm building my channel. That takes time. The benefit to something like a YouTube channel is depending on what niche you select, it can turn into creator Sunny Lenarduzzi. She's a business person who does business videos and how to build social media. She calls it an evergreen money machine. And I'd highly recommend you check out her channel. She's very charismatic and very good at what she does. I create content. I have my Patreon. Eventually, I will get to the point where the number of subscribers I have will support me becoming a partner, and then I'll gain ad revenue. And because the videos will be up here as long as YouTube's around, or until YouTube changes its terms of service so they aren't, every video I do is basically digital real estate. I have videos I produced over a year ago that people still look up. So once I monetize, that's all opportunity. Now, I still have a ways to go. I only have 200. Unfortunately, I lost 5 subscribers in one day. I'm pretty sure YouTube purged some bad accounts. And I know some people just unsubscribed, and that's fine. I mean, it's kind of it's not kind of a shame. It is a shame, but that's fine. But usually when I lose that many, it's because YouTube deleted accounts. Plain and simple. I've only seen it happen. This is the second time I've seen it happen. And the last time it happened, I lost like 6, and it said I only lost 2. Which means, yeah, I honestly lost 2 unsubscribed, and then 4 got purged. At least that's how I interpret it. YouTube channel, Twitch channel. The benefit, you can also do a blog or any other content creation. The benefit to doing that is that you're using your own skills, and they often don't have any sort of overhead, or they have minimal overhead. You might have to pay for your website if you have a website, or your email address if you have a specialty email address. But that's not a huge investment. The downside is it's very slow to grow. It is exceptionally slow to grow. You know, I've been doing this for almost 2 years. I still have less than 300 subscribers. Part of it I know is because I'm not solely niched in on one thing, but part of it's because I'm still figuring out the whole YouTube thing. This is not, you know, take a class and be an expert. And I've taken classes in how to use, or I've taken courses in how to build YouTube. It is ever changing, ever developing. It's just as soon as you figure something out, they'll change it. And that's the way it works. That's the way it works in life. And so just be aware that it's going to take you time to build. It's not fast. But when compared to a lot of the other options you have, it's essentially free. So those are the options you have to build your top line. And the reason that it's important that you build your top line, especially on this side of things, where you're trying to build yourself up, is because that's where when you add to the top line, the other things in the expenses category become less important. They're still important, but they're not as critical. You'll remember in my cutting expenses video, I was like, pare down as much as you can on eating out. Pare down as much as you can on frivolous crap. And you still want to do that for a large part, but at the same time, if you have a large top line, that becomes less important. It doesn't mean it's unimportant, it's less important. Now, to the extent that it's less important, that's for you to decide. But remember, every added expense that pulls out of your new added to top line pulls away from the money you're setting aside. Like we discussed when talking about savings. And that money you set aside eventually goes into the investments that you're going to build. That's simple. It really is. The thing about money is that it's not a hard thing to figure out. It's a skill. It's a skill you have to develop. It's a skill you have to learn. It's a skill you have to practice. And you have to get good at it. Another thing you need to know is that money loves attention. The more you pay attention to your money, the better off you're going to be. And for instance, the last month and a half, just due to life, I have not been paying very much attention to my money. And I almost screwed myself because I wasn't paying attention to my money. I almost had to dip into a savings that I swore I would not dip into unless I absolutely catastrophically had to. I came very, very close. Very close. Because I didn't pay attention. Money loves attention. And that doesn't mean you check your savings all the time or your investments all the time. Keep an eye on your checking account. It seems a little low, find out where the money went. If your credit card's inflating, figure out why. It's not hard, kids. It's just a skill you have to develop. It's a habit. You have to build the habit, and then you have to force yourself to keep to the habit. Because without that habit, you're just going to be spinning your wheels. And yes, all of these things that I have presented today take time, Most of them take money. And they take a hell of a lot of effort. But guess what? That's how it works. That's how the game is played. The average person in America works between 40 and 45 hours a week. The average CEO works between 70 and 80. And you might remember, I believe I mentioned it in my first video in this series, 10% extra effort can bring as much as 40% extra results. Going from working 40 hours to 44 hours. In those 4 hours, and it doesn't mean that has to be 4 hours at your job where you're only making time and a half. Maybe you're working 4 hours on building your content on YouTube. Maybe you're spending those 4 hours building a business by drop shipping or reselling. Or maybe you are putting the overtime in. Maybe you're on commission and that's just 4 extra sales calls you're making. And the best part about it is that it's almost geometric, the benefit you get, because, and I've said it before, you put 40, if person A puts 40 hours worth of work in every single week, and person B does 44. On week 1, person B has 4 more hours. On week 2, they have 8 more hours total. And then 12. And then 16. And then 20. After 10 weeks, they have a full extra work week worth of effort put in. Doesn't sound like a lot, does it? Every 10 weeks you get an extra work week. That's not huge. Let's say you make $10 an hour, that's $400 a week. And let's say that whatever side hustle you have, or, you know, let's pretend you're not working overtime, you're doing something on the side, that average is about the same, $10 an hour. Well, if you're working 52 weeks a year times $400 a week, that's $20,800. Now we said you're getting in an extra 5 work weeks. So now you have 57 work weeks worth of time times $400. Well, now you made $22,800. That's $2,800 more than you started with, or thereabouts. I know that doesn't sound like a lot. You multiply that by over 10 years. Let's say it's just 2,200. We'll round it out. After 10 years, you've made an extra 22,000. That's a whole extra year's worth of money. And if you're smart with it, you're going to be growing it elsewhere as well. So it's not just cash sitting in your mattress. And that's it, kids. That's what building your top line means. That's what the side hustle is all about. Drop a comment if you have any questions. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, 1 subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. Guys, as always, I really appreciate all of your support, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.